This is a really important question. Everybody has to figure out what is best for them. If you are a nurse and you're considering moving forward into an advanced practice, education and role, you may also want to consider moving into a totally different role that's not in nursing. And again, think about reverse engineering what your goals are. So where do you see yourself in 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, or wherever you're at? I wouldn't say I'm at the end of my career, because at the rate of inflation and the cost of everything, I was really thinking about, I want something that I can do, use my expertise, my critical thinking, continue to help people, and actually make a really good living. And I wanted mobility. I wanted some flexibility and mobility, meaning either I could do locum tenens, I could do some traveling, or I could do remote work. Now, a lot of that has recently been changing, and it may rapidly change going forward, as there were some rollbacks to intra-state telehealth that was made acceptable and agreed upon during COVID. So it really depends. But I think if you are thinking FNP versus PMHNP, then also consider acute care. What kind of setting do you want to be in? So for me, I know FNP would be the easiest route, or acute care, because that's my wheelhouse. That's what I've done my entire career, has been in a hospital-based environment in addition to some other areas of work. So you have to think, some people want to do wound care, but they want to elevate that. They want to be a provider in wound care. They want to be a provider for a specific category, right? A specific domain of medicine and healthcare. And also, do you want to be working full-time Monday through Friday, or maybe have to do weekends? What kind of, do you want to do telehealth? Are you mobile? Again, you've got to think about what is the market. For me, I'm totally mobile. I'm not even obligated to stay here in the United States. That's not the case for everybody. I don't have family. I don't have kids. I've got a couple dogs I've got to think about, and, some other factors. But again, for the most part, I have the mobility to be able to move around, or at least go on assignment for a few months, come back if I want to, do telehealth, go to other states and work. So that, I want to make sure that I was able to address your question, and I'm sure other people have things to weigh in. So please weigh in on this as advanced practice providers. What are factors that went into your what if, and how did you figure out, like, why not this, or that? Let's talk about it, because I know a lot of NPs who still work bedside, who are still making more money in maybe a union position, union wages. That was the case for many people that were NPs, FNPs, when I was, in my earlier part of my career, 15, 20 years ago, 10 years ago. That's changed a little bit, but by and large, the wages have not kept up. So I don't think, I think if you do FNP, you've got to do it because you want to be in a certain kind of sphere working, not necessarily for the money, unless you're going to specialize somehow. So again, it's how are you leveraging your skills? What is your long-term goal? Reverse engineer what your goals are, and then work towards that. The PMHNP, my undergrad is in psychology, so I have been already in that world way before, 2 decades before I became an RN. So this is just kind of coming back around full circle to something that I always wanted to do. And now I'm just deciding at my age, why not? I'll just do it. I don't know what's going to happen with healthcare moving forward, but because there's always the cash pay option, that was part of what factored in for me, is that people will always be willing to pay cash for psychiatry and therapy services, even if people don't have insurance. And insurance drives a lot of other sectors of healthcare greatly. Not to say we won't be impacted, because we certainly will be, but there's a certain sector that we know will always pay cash. And as long as we can do telehealth, then that expands our ability, our earning potential and ability to help people. Hopefully that was helpful. You guys weigh in, please. I want to get a lot of feedback on this, so I appreciate that. Thanks.